This is BBC Scotland on One. Now the nation's premier send-up squad reviews the nation's game as it was played in 1995. But don't believe them, it's only an excuse.
Gaza, the Jolly Jehovah, the demagogue in the time, God. Does the media go over the top about him? Remember when he was greeting like a big Wayne when England got gubbed in the semi-finals of World Cup 90? We pissed ourselves laughing. But now that he's a Ranger, all of Scotland must get behind him.
I feel Paul Gascoigne is a totally unique player, totally unique. Most midfielders, you know, they're always shouting, go square, go square. And with Paul, it's more like, square go, square go.
Well, I'm fitter than ever. Apart from my legs, my stamina's good. I can go a full 20 minutes without swearing at the referee, and anybody who's played against me will notice the sharpness of my elbows.
Mom, I'm sorry, I don't follow your line of question at all. I mean, what are you asking me? Is Gascoigne daft as a brush? How daft is a brush? I don't know anything about brushes. I don't mind it. What better wear, man?
Well, yeah, obviously when I first came into Newcastle, there were a lot of stories knocking about Paul Gascoigne, and I don't know whether they were true or not, but apparently he once tried to sue the makers of Shaw deodorant because he'd been using it, you know, and he'd still been getting very sweaty underarms and a bit smelly. And he lost the case. It turned out he'd just been spraying it in a small V on his back.
A lot's been made about me hair. First it was white, then it was black, but it's now back to its natural colour, Newcastle brown.
Football is, was, and ever should have been the ballet of the working classes, the poetry of the po-faced, the concerto of the criminally insane.
In our day, when you were talking football, you were talking millions of mad, mental maniacs. The people's punters, pontificating, pissed, packed like pilchards on the hallowed slopes of Hampden Park, the nation's national cowshed.
Watching with awesome awe some of the most skillfully accurate men on earth. I tell you, in those conditions, it wasn't easy to pee into a beer can.
Of course, this is now, and that was then, when you could stand on the terraces and just soak up the atmosphere through your shoes. And really experience l'essence de la game. The sights, the sweary words, the smells. Football, yeah, bestow.
Well, young man, you've just seen Real Madrid defeat Eintracht Frankfurt by 7-3 with a stunning display of association football. Do you think this is the way ahead for football?
No, it'll never catch on. Too many goals isn't good for the game. And besides, if Real hadn't scored 7, they would have lost 3-0.
Yes, but can't we learn anything from seeing that magnificent skill?
No, we're Scottish. We don't need to learn.
Well, you certainly are a very opinionated young chap. What's your name?
James Farry.
My biggest mistake. Well, I can tell you that in 2 words, right? 2 words. Reno, you know? Because, you know, as you say, you know, when I went to Italy to play in Italian football, you know, there were a lot of clubs interested in me, you know, well, there was, you know, there was a lot of clubs. There was Milan, Milano, AC Milan, and Inter, and Inter Milan, and, well, especially International. But in the end, you know, I chose Torino because it was easier to say than international, you know, but you know, of course, I wasn't alone over in Italy. There was, well, let me see now, there was Big John Charles, you know, who had many caps for his country, you know, and Jimmy Greaves, who had many nightcaps for his country. No, even though I didn't settle, you know, mainly because, you know, they couldn't learn my language, I was Italy's top scorer that season with 2 goals, you know. I might have scored 3, but for the marking system they had over there called the Catenaccio system. Catenaccio, now, that's Italian, you know. It means Catenaccio, and I mean, even the lawman found that one, you know, just a wee bitty difficult, you know.
The ball's pushed forward to Ravanelli. And the big Juve striker celebrates in his usual way. Higuita. Oh, I say.
Before I went to Turkey and joined Galatasaray, yeah, for sure, I did some extensive research. I watched Midnight Express 5 times. I have to admit, when I saw that cruelty, I thought, that'll do me.
The dark cloud of soccer violence looms again like a dark cloud that is very dark and cloudy.
There can be no place in football for players who commit the unacceptable, then cannot accept the inevitable when it arrives on their doorstep like an inevitable thing.
Okay, thanks a lot, fellas. So, talk us through this one then, Alan.
Oh, really? Cantona. Okay. Well, a man is a genius. I mean, for me, he's the world's first 5th dan footballer. I mean, okay, a lot's been made of the attack on the fan. How about a bit of sympathy for Eric for once, you know? Because it wasn't a very good drop kick and he must have hurt his bum when it hit the wall.
What do you see? A Frenchman? A footballer? A nutter? Is it okay to shout abuse at me just because I'm on a football pitch?
Physically assaulting players and fans?
I am sensitive, an artist, a man of taste.
Then how come you've got plastic stone cladding on your house?
I know that violence is unacceptable in sport.
So how come you get a fat contract out of it?
But why argue? I'd rather take the money. What? Bernard? Well, see drugs. See dark boys. See drugs and dark boys, you know? I just couldn't take it in. I just couldn't handle the concept, you know? St. Mirren associated with ecstasy. All right. Where's the birds?
Well, to be honest with you, I think clubs like Queen's Park and...
We're picking up some interference. Okay, it's gone now.
Okay, cue Gary.
Well, to be honest with you, I think clubs like Queen's Park and Partick...
No, there it is again.
Sorry, is it these?
For me personally, you know, that is I myself, the person who has done most damage to the reputation of footballers is Paul Merson. Booze, drugs, gambling, but nae birds. People start out with a bunch of hoops or something. To be probably honest, I'm very proud to be seeing what is happening back in the English football. Bruce Grobbelaar, how can he survive accusations that he did not deliberately let in too many goals? I probably think it would be a good idea if he could prove he's a Scottish granny.
Did you see that? What a jammy bastard. I can just read down in the sports pages to my name, score, leave semen on the floor. Seaman ruins clean sheet. Seaman has no spunk. Oh, excuse me. I've got to look philosophical now.
Changes in the game. Well, I think one of the changes we've seen in the game, certainly on TV lately, you know, is the old, you know, the score being there written in the top corner of the screen there, isn't it? You know, and obviously that's to stop people coming to the pub or into the house, wherever you're watching it, really, and saying, "What's the score?" There's get on your nerves a little bit, you know. But of course, instead of that, what's actually happening now is people are coming in, they're looking at the TV and saying, "Is that the score?" You know. Quite frankly, I'm always tempted to just say, you know, no, it's just up there for a laugh, you know.
Now, see if we stop the action here. Look, nobody in this area here. All of this area here. So there's absolutely no chance to make runs here. Or here. And I don't know what they're making of it here.
And welcome back to Us in Question. That's me, Saint, and him, Gravesy.
It's a funny old game, Saint.
Gears peace. Right. So, Gravesy, the European Championships, being held not in Europe this year, but in England. So, who do you fancy? Gravesy, my money's on Brazil.
Well, I suppose Brazil have as much chance of winning it as Scotland, mate.
And what about your England lot? The England, will Tell bring in fresh talent?
No, he'll probably stay loyal to the players who've let him down in the past.
Good. And what about the Irish lads from the island? How about that sensational qualifying situation where Northern Ireland ended up helping the Republic?
No doubt about it, Saint. The loyal Ulster fans must have been really upset.
Upset indeed. And talking of Rangers, I see Ali McCoist now holds the record for scoring goals in Old Firm matches.
Who against?
A belter.
People say the Irish have finally not had such a good year in Europe. But if you ask me, the song wasn't as good, was it? Huh? When you can't beat that Johnny Logan, it's a good lad, him.
Well, it's difficult being Welsh, like, you know, because, well, we never qualify for nothing. And we've become a bit of a joke team, really, you know, because we haven't got the luck of the Irish and that. And I think Wales has become like the Scotland of Britain.
Just one more question, Terry. People are saying that you seem to speak a lot of jargon that doesn't actually, at the end of the day, make an awful lot of sense. What do you say to that?
Well, yeah, you say that. I always say to our players, you've got to attack the channels. You've got to get into spaces. You've got to close them down. You've got to shut up shop. You've got to keep moving. You've got to close them down. You've got to get crosses in. You've got to make sure that they don't come at you. And above all, you've got to keep moving, round them up, head them up, round them in, get them in, rawhide.
Thank you very much.
In their Euro 96 qualifying campaign, Scotland played the typically Scottish way, but somehow they still managed to qualify.
I have to say, though, some of the players developed an almost telepathic sense. Against Greece, Stuart McKimmie hit Paul McStay with every ball he kicked. Granted, Paul was sitting in the stand at the time.
Well, apparently, Craig Brown intended taking the squad to the pictures to see Braveheart, but he changed his mind when he heard it highlighted the Battle of Stirling, as he thought that meant that footage of Duncan Ferguson trying to get into a taxi.
No doubt about it. I've been saying this for weeks. The stakes could not be higher. And that is a quality question.
Fair dues, Davy. At the end of the day, I thought the prison sentence was a bit harsh.
Does that answer your question?
Aye, good like.
The greatest player of them all. Well, if I had to name one, you know, I would have to say Pele, you know. I mean, he was unique. You know, he really was, you know. He was like Eusebio, you know. No, he was. I mean, you're laughing, but it's true. He was a one-off, except, there was two of them, and, anyway, hey, Beckenbauer, the Kaiser, Big Frank. You could say, he was the coolest, the most imperturbable of them all. Or you could say he was just an arrogant big shite, And, and Bestie, the things that boy could do. Let's tell you, I'm a chunk guy. I think back, I couldn't stop laughing. But ask the guys what he was like at Keepy Uppy, you can ask a few Miss Worlds as well,
So, David, or David, I should say, you've settled in very well to English football, and you seem, so far at least, to have, most importantly, picked up the language very well. What are your impressions so far?
Well, I don't do impressions, but I can juggle if you would like to see this.
Yes. Well, you've been here a few months now in Newcastle, but how do you find the city at first?
I use une carte, a map.
Yes. But you seem, David, to be head and shoulders above the rest of the Premier League.
Head and shoulders?
Yes.
I didn't know you had dandruff.
Well, I don't. But, yes, leaving that aside, though, David, do you think that at the end of the day, you will hold your own?
Well, I am married, so I hope at the end of the day, my wife will hold it for me.
Yes, thank you, David.
Move
yes,
around a little
thank you,
bit.
David. Thank you very much. David Ginola there, of Newcastle United.
Okay, thank you.
Then, of course, with Charlton, Bobby Charlton, Jack Charlton, Heston, and Jimmy Johnson, Wee Jenky, I remember I tell you this about Wee Jenky, he could control the ball in a bouncy castle. No, he could. He could. That's how skillful he was. And of course, Jim Baxter, Slim Jim. He could walk a straight line in a bouncy castle. That's how pissed he was, And of course, the boy Giggs. Oh, the boy Bergkamp. The boy George.
People say that I'm always making excuses, but there is a very good reason for that.
For example, we have a lot of smaller players, we've got a lot of taller players, so that gives the side a very unbalanced look.
We've got a lot of foreign lads as well, who don't necessarily speak English too well.
And a lot of players like Dennis Wise, who, don't speak English so well.
On top of that, it's not easy, because there's a lot of grass around on the pitches. The white lines can confuse some of the players as well. There's the lights shining in their eyes and the night games, and
people on top of all this, they turn up and they watch us, stare at us, make us very paranoid. So that's not easy.
And above everything else, we're just not very good.
We're shit.
And of course, some great double acts too, like Cruyff and Neeskens and Luca and Campers and Robson and Jerome. But anyway, as you say, I've seen some great players in my time. Alan Ruff, Ted McDougall and Trevor Cherry, I'm sure they've seen some great players too, But nonetheless, if pushed, you're gonna push me in this one. I'd say the best of them all was me.
Hello, I'm Tommy Craig, and welcome to... I'm sorry, you're still going okay? Good, right, right, hello, I'm Tommy Craig. Look, go to shut it! Try to do this. phone, Peter! Wayne. Hello, I'm Tommy Craig, and welcome to Shoot. For this week, we'll be concentrating on the thing that is most of all important when scoring, and that is scoring. Okay, kids, see if you can beat me. Well, as you can see, it's not as easy as it looks. So, to show us how it's done, a natural-born striker, Liverpool's Ian Rush. Hello. Hello, Ian. Now, Ian, I understand that you hold the record for the number of goals scored by Ian Rush. So, tell us why.
Well, I think I think it was Liverpool and France and it's not really on Juventus, but I thought it really.
Yep, absolutely right, Rushy. Of course, almost as important as the man who scores the goals is the provider of the scorer's score chances for to be made. And Ian, oh, you had one of the best in Peter Beardsley. Peter, explain what you're looking for when you're looking for the striker. What you're looking at? Well, couldn't agree with you more, Peter. Right, away you go then, and let's see what they mean. How was that? Okay, I mean, do you think the audience will understand my Scottish accent all right?
There you are. Don't these pros always make it all sound so simple, eh?
Yeah, a lot of teams will come to Liverpool in the late 80s, you know, and they go away saying that they've been robbed. Well, if you're going to leave valuables in the dressing room in Liverpool, what's that?
Hi, Jim White here. And first up, did anyone see that documentary, Faith, Flutes and Football? The one which portrayed Glasgow as a city of narrow-minded bigots. Brilliant, wasn't it? Cheers, Channel 4. Well done, mates. Well, what a year for football. Europe seems set to scrap the 3 foreigners rule, or as we call it in Scotland, the 8 Diddies rule. And staying with Europe. Did playing these European games on a Thursday cost Celtic vital league points? Let's hope so. And in the Champions League, Juventus had the audacity to beat Rangers 4-0 at Ibrox. Joe Jordan, they were 1-up at half-time. Surely they should have taken it easy in the second half.
Yeah, actually, Jim, they did.
The match in Turin was obviously the lowest point, particularly as the Italians were up to their old tricks. The fans were throwing coins, which was, you know, particularly distracting to Andy Gorham. He started collecting them.
Yes, this is me, Chet Young, and with me now, Juventus ace Del Piero. So, Derek, what about that astonishing turn past Rangers' Alex Cleland? Talk us through it, amigo.
Sì, come tu mi Patricio e...
What a deep goal.
Yeah, for sure, the world of football is changing. For example, this year's European competitions threw up names from many far off and oppressed regions of the world. For example, Dinamo Batumi from Georgia, and Žalgiris Vilnius from Lithuania, and also Wraith Rovers from Kirkcaldy. Yeah, for sure.
This is very, very true. We at the Celtic Football Club would rather we didn't have to play Dynamo Batumi.
A lot of dangers, Tommy. For example, the threat of diphtheria.
We all know about the threat of diphtheria. He's a quality player. But we just got to
Rangers gubbed 4-0 at home by Juventus, boys, you know, and it was, well, of course, it was a Deutschland double, no cared for the other two. I mean, Wraith Rovers lost to Munich in Bayern, In Celtic went down to Paris Street German, you know.
What about Blackburn Rovers? Pish, weren't they?
And Rovers now about to bring on Kevin Gallagher there, who some feel is a little bit injury prone. Well, judge for yourself.
A disaster for British clubs in Europe. Maybe aye. But let's look at the positive side. Fergie and Man United went out before us.
Well, what a year for football. And here with his views, the voice of a football, Jerry McNee. Jerry, what a year for football. Can you hear me, mate?
Let's just stop all this shilly-shallying, dilly-dallying, prevaricating and equivocating. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Collins is overrated. I mean, she hasn't made a decent film since The Stud in 1979. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, the best game of the season so far was the Old Firm draw at Ibrox. That ended up 4-3 for Rangers. 3-2 for Celtic.
This is very, very true. But to be very, very honest, I'd be a liar if I didn't say that we at Celtic Football Club know that they at Rangers Football Club went to beat us at Celtic Football Club 9 times in a row. And, you know, them at Rangers Football Club, they aren't playing great, but they're still winning. And in championship terms, you know, you have to say that is the mark of true jammy bastards.
Right, competition time. And if you remember, we asked you last week the question, who won this season's Coca-Cola Cup final? Was it Aberdeen or Dundee? The answer, of course, was, who gives a toss? Right, coming up after the break. TV evidence and how it won't affect Scott Sport. Because we always miss the crucial bits anyway.
Macca, do you know a lot about the Serie A?
Nah, I don't know much about any motor.
Oh, I still keep an eye on the Scottish scene. And I've noticed lately a great similarity between Airdrie and Baywatch. Honestly, fans of both have a lot of semis.
Jürgen, you're actively involved and concerned with a number of international issues.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, for sure.
So what did you think of the French bomb?
Well, I think it was wrong for Basil Bowley to ever have joined Glasgow Rangers.
The toughest acting performance of my life. Trying to keep the smile off my face at the Juventus-Rangers match.
By the way, Saint, I see that Rangers have signed Solenko.
That's right, Greavesy. Signed him from a Spanish club.
Of course, that's a big tradition with you jocks, isn't it? Bringing donkeys back from Spain.
You'll get us hung.
There's one sure way to stop your average footballer getting at any pills, and that's to put childproof caps on the bottles.
Hi, Jim White here. Oh, for goodness sake, it was only £20, mate.
I'll tell you why I really don't like all-seater stadiums. Why? Well, you're stuck in the one place. It used to be you could shuffle away after you'd farted.